Hi, fellow female activists. Today, I'm going to recommend you create a self-care spot. Hi, Cathy Bettis, and if you're new here, welcome. This is Wellness for Female Activists. This particular playlist is all about recommendations, okay? So, if again you are new here, then you are not aware that we start every video, okay, with a session of positive quotient repetitions, PQ reps. All right. It's a way to get centered so that you are fully present. All right. So, with that, go ahead, only if you feel safe and can do so. Feel free to close your eyes. And you can use my cues even if you're not standing, but we're going to be going with the notion that you are standing. Okay. But feel free to lay down. Go ahead and just be able to put your feet flat on something. So, with your eyes closed, if you feel safe, and hopefully you're in a quiet spot, then go ahead and whether you have shoes or not, go ahead and make sure that you can now feel your feet, all four corners of your feet grounding down, okay, into the surface they're on. Really feel all those pressure points. You might actually start to learn and feel about your balance, and that's okay. That's what the point is. Go ahead with your feet nice and firm again on the surface. Lift your toes, okay? Spread them out. Really feel those sensations. You should feel your calves turn on even. And then go ahead and lay those spread toes down. Okay, keep them spread, but put them down. And now really feel how grounded your body feels. You should really feel like you're growing like a tree. You should feel the sensations going up your legs. How is that making you feel? What sensations can you register? Now go ahead and take one of your hands and place it on your belly. And without changing your breath, just notice what's happening to your hand as you breathe. Is it just your hand moving? Now we're actually going to change our breath. So you can let your hand down and we're going to breathe through our nose and exhale through our mouth. So we're going to take in some deep breaths and then exhale through our mouth. Go ahead and inhale in, fill up those lungs, and then exhale with a sigh. Again, inhale as much as you can, fill up those lungs to the tip of your lungs. You can't feel anymore. And now exhale. And one more time, inhale. Take in another inhale. Feel, feel, feel. Feel how that makes you taller. And then exhale. And go ahead and blink your eyes open. That, my friends, again, was our positive quotient repetitions or PQ reps. So we begin all of our sessions, all of our videos this way. Why? Because we are fellow female activists and we are already stressed out. We want to bring focus, clarity. We want to come and be present, okay? Because every time you practice a PQ rep, guess what? You'll probably practice it on your own later on. That's exactly what I want. So today, okay, we are recommending, or I should say, I am recommending that you create a self-care spot. That self-care spot, I want you to actually think about it being movable, meaning, do you have a self-care spot already in your residence? Okay. In my case, you know, everything about me is minimal. I'm a minimalist, and so I tend to have very little on purpose, right? But what happens is when I want to create my self-care spot, basically I have all the tools like my mat. I have, my little yoga blocks. So I create my little spot where I need it, so to speak. Okay. Usually in my bedroom. If you have the opportunity of more space, I do not, then you can actually have a designated self-care spot. And the self-care spot has many purposes. It's not just where you might have a movement practice. Maybe there's not enough room for it, but you can meditate there, or you can just sit there and feel safe. It's a bubble, okay? So a self-care spot. So in the same way that I can create my self-care spot anywhere in my residence, can you do so and replicate the self-care spot in your place of employment if you're employed? Okay, if you're self-employed, then hopefully you can create, your own spot wherever you want. But a self-care spot in a public place, that is possible. So let's say you work at you have an employer and you have a workstation. That self-care spot doesn't necessarily have to be in your workstation, but more than likely it's going to be. So what can you add, okay, or what can you bring to your workstation? One, that's allowed, but two, that will give you that same safety. Okay, so maybe you do bring in, say, I have a foldable yoga mat, like quite literally, it's foldable, so I can travel with it. Well, maybe you get a travel mat of some sort, and that way you can, or even they have really cool meditation cushions, right, that are very small. And you can put that, let's say, underneath your desk, and then you can bring it out and actually meditate if it's allowed, right? When you want. You can create a self-care spot anywhere, all right? Now, you can do that easily in your head with meditation, PQ reps, right? But what I'm saying is when you can visualize your self-care spot, that makes it a little bit easier for you to then decide, I want to go to my self-care spot, okay? I want you to get into the thought process that my self-care spot is anywhere that I'm actually at, but okay, in the occasion, right, that you really are like, I need to just like get out of here now and go to my self-care spot, I would hope that you can find such a place, right? Again, usually it's going to be in your residence, but it might not be. It could literally be maybe you pick a place in the park. Maybe you pick a place, in the library, okay? Just understand that the self-care spot, again, is for you, all right? It's for you to feel safe so that you can reconnect mind to body, all right? You know, I envy one of my friends. She lives in Canada, I believe on Vancouver Island. She may have moved, I'm not sure, but she used to have a dedicated space. And it wasn't just her workspace, like she had a desk, right? But it was a yoga space. And one wall was her dedicated, what you call business area. So she had her, books. She had a whole wall of basically everything you would need for a workspace. And then she had a desk and a seat. Well, the rest of the space was her self-care spot. I mean, it was a yoga, a little yoga studio. And so she had all kinds of self-care items there, mostly yoga based, but you get the idea. I really, truly envy that type of space. So again, you probably have to share space with someone in some way, shape, or form. And even if you don't, maybe you have a smaller space. And so maybe you live in a studio. It's quite small, right? Well, dedicating one little place may or may not be possible, but you can create the space when necessary. Again, just using small, even if it's just a towel, right? Have a dedicated towel that you put somewhere, and then you're able to meditate, or you're able to lay down flat on the ground, right? So a self-care spot. Please, please, please understand that I'm not telling you to buy anything. I'm not telling you that you have to, rearrange anything. But if you get that inkling, understand that a self-care spot is exactly what it's for. It's for you to go when you're ready to replenish yourself, okay? And again, it doesn't have to be necessarily somewhere inside. You know, I would hope that you want to be at least sheltered in some way, shape, or form, but it doesn't have to be, right? It can be simply a place where you know that you will be safe, for one, but two, that you can promote your self-care and it's not going to otherwise bother anyone, but it's simply going to fill you up. Okay. So again, keep in mind, right? A self-care spot, you can either have a dedicated spot and you can take it along with you, right? You can create a self-care spot when necessary. I can tell you that on different trips, I have taken my traveler yoga mat for that exact reason. So I can create my own serenity wherever I was at. Okay. So again, recommendation, create a self-care spot wherever you go, quite literally, and you will find that it brings so much joy, but it also brings a lot of mental and physical wellness along with it. Okay. With that, I look forward to hearing any comments. Let me know. Your CTA is tell me what your self-care spot looks like, right? Or, let me know where it's at. I mean, you don't need to tell me exactly where it's at, but tell me if you made one out of this recommendation, right? I would love to hear. All right. Until next time, take care, take charge. God bless.